Welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the creative fairy godmother. And every single week on this show, we talk to a creative entrepreneur paving their own path, finding their way, and creating space for all of you to enjoy the things you love as well. And this week, we have Teemaree on the show. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on? I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so excited to have you. I already know this episode is going to be very high energy, very energetic, but also very truthful and colorful and open and honest. So, if you're interested in wellness, if you're interested in building your community, if you're interested in manifesting and growth and abundance, I think this is the episode for you. So, we're going to dive all the way into it. Tell us all of the many hats that you wear, because I know you got quite a few.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, all the many hats, girl. Okay, let's begin. Well, gosh, I am a personal development author of 4 books. I am a life, health, and spiritual coach. I am a creator of an eco wellness system. So basically, a producer of feel good media that you can listen to, watch, read. I put on new experts. And and I also am the founder of a virtual retreat church center. So it's like you can come, it's a virtual church and retreat center. So you can come and basically 24/7 access a library, and you get classes and wellness and all this stuff. So like my thing, all my hats, I'm an artist, I'm a DJ, girl. Yeah, all the things lead to wellness, but it comes through creativity, it comes through art, it comes through science, it comes through joy. I'm the founder of the transformation through joy method. So many hats, many hats,
So many,
but I wear
but
that with pride.
yeah, they all have a
Yeah.
similar aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, as someone who is multifaceted, and many of us are, but a lot of us are told to niche down, niche down, niche down. It's so joyful to be in the room with people who aren't trying to shrink you. So thank you for being all of those things so boldly, so openly, because a lot of people will just be like, okay, this is just something on the side. This is just something on the side. This is my main gig. So I'm curious how you got to that space where you were comfortable enough being all of these things. What did it take?
It's been a lifelong journey. I'm so glad that we're starting with this because you're absolutely right. This is something that I myself have dealt with and battled against, and, kind of continue to this day, depending on the room I'm in. So it's all about the room. It's all about the room because there are people that will understand those of us that have many gifts and bring them to the table fully and unapologetically. And then we're going to get into those rooms that are still believing we should niche down and we should pick a lane and we should, put it in a statement that's 60 characters or less, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, I'm a fully fledged human being that has a lifelong of experience and joy and creativity in all of this. And I'm bringing this to the table because this is how I serve.
Mm.
So it's been a lifelong journey, though. I'm going to be honest with you because it has been rough. As an entrepreneur, we are constantly pivoting, learning, growing to be better in our services, to be able to navigate things that change. And so I find myself in rooms that still try to shrink me. And I'm like, oh no, honey. No. So it's a constant balance between being open to advice that will serve me and very, very clear about my differences and that those are my gifts so that I don't I'm not tempted to like lay them down and put them aside.
I know it's a lifelong journey because I'm still trying to figure it out. And people ask me that question all the time. They're like, how do you show up in all these ways? And there are days, 100%, there are days where I'll go to a place and just like be a wallflower. I know that sounds weird, but like I know those spaces aren't for me. And I'm learning how to like listen to my body. Something new I've learned is like if I'm in a room I'm not supposed to be in, I start getting like a migraine, like right here. And then it goes all the way over my head. And I've been trying to pay attention to it, but because I'm like, where is this coming from? I do this all the time. I'm a marathon day kind of person. I'll go all day, all night, feeling great. But the second I'm in a room that like I feel squished, my brain starts to hurt. I don't know if there's any science behind that, but I'm just like watching that.
No. See, you're hitting something very powerful here, because that is true. Our bodies speak to us. And so those things, those sensations, they're very physical. They can be very physical. And don't worry, like if you are in a season where you don't get that, but that is just yet another way that our bodies speak to us. It's so funny because like for me, what I've noticed is like, have you ever heard, I'm sure you've seen on social media, like this thing where they'll say like, if I'm quiet around you, it's for a reason. It's not because I'm quiet.
I know, I'm like, me quiet, but it happened.
So it's like those rooms that I feel like, oh my gosh, this is not the right room. Like I immediately will feel a sensation of like, of not feeling like I can share there. It's like immediately like my radar goes up of like, this is not a room. This is not a room to speak necessarily in, because you're not amidst people that get it. And yeah, and even that, like the desire to try to fight my way, thank God that's over.
Okay.
Now it's like, no, it doesn't need to be a fight. It ends. Don't worry. Because you get to a place where you can choose your battles, where you're like, look, this is a place where I can actually push for progress. But then this is a place where I'm just in the wrong room. They don't speak my language. They don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
So it gets fun, but believe me, it's been a lifelong, and I wouldn't be 100% if I would say that there aren't days where I do question. At the beginning of this year, I came out strong. I was like, yo, I'm getting everything I need to maximize my business. I'm going in this. I was getting myself coached because straight up, as a believer of this work, I also get coached, and I found myself in a couple of rooms where I was like, oh no, I'm in the wrong room. This is fabulous information, but this information is not for me. And that was tough, because then you're like, am I leaving something that I should be in? Because
that word.
Right.
That word.
That word. So I'm so glad that we started there, because it's juicy and it keeps on kind of going.
And as a creative and a spiritually attuned person and someone who's turning those things into your business, it can feel, well, I feel like in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, at least in Metro Detroit, it's like there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. There's a lot, you should do this, you should try this, you should be here, you should be there. And I feel like I'm constantly fighting myself. And I laugh when you say like it gets better. And I thank God, because like I'm actively fighting this fight right now as someone who I'm like, I just can't be at everything. Like there's just so many things, which is amazing. I remember a Detroit where, like, for me at least, there was like one or two things that was interesting to me and I could go to both. But now I cannot. I physically cannot, but also like spiritually I cannot. I just can't be in all these places in my fullest version of myself and also take care of myself. And so I'm having this battle where I'm like, oh my God, I should be there. I should be there. I should be there. But like, for whatever reason, my body's like, no, you should not. Maybe because it's burnout. Maybe I'm tired, but also I think there's a bigger thing at play. And I'm working on accepting when my body's like, we're good. No shade, no nothing. But like, I'm struggling to listen to that. Any advice for someone who's like, even a little, like a step or two before or in the same step as me, where I'm like, I need to go. I have to go. I feel all this obligation to go to all these things and be in all these rooms because everybody tells me I should.
Yeah. Well, first of all, don't shit on yourself, honey.
You need to trademark that immediately.
Okay, like you don't need to do that, and none of us need to do that. Don't shit on yourself. And I'll tell you why, because a lot of people, they're going to have great ideas for you because they're seeing your light and they're getting excited, and it's easy. It's so easy, right? I can easily tell somebody what to do, but we are the ones who have to walk that out. And so when your body and when your whole being is like, no, I don't need to do that. Take a few breaths, center yourself, and just practice listening. And really, it sounds so simple and it sounds so, yeah, right. But that's really honestly what it takes. Because ultimately, like our neural pathways in our brain, right? What we're doing, you've got to think of a record, right? So in a record, you carve grooves into the record that eventually transmute the music, right? Well, our brains are the same way. We are building those grooves with new habits and new patterns. So when we're going into a new thing, saying no, honoring ourselves more, we just are kind of digging that new groove. So at first, it's going to feel like awkward, strange. You're going to second guess, but you just take a breath. And if you need to even take a more practical step, you could even write down some things. Why? To kind of quantify to yourself that you really are thinking this through. And then it's kind of like, I can put that to bed now. I did think about it. I gave it my all, but it's a no. And you just stick with your no. But we shouldn't shit on ourselves.
I love that so much
Worst.
because I be shitting on myself a lot.
Don't do it, girl.
But I feel like you touched on another note, and it's kind of coming back to the first part of the conversation where, you know, we have chosen to go down, and many entrepreneurs and creatives have gone down a path where everybody says we shouldn't have, right? We shouldn't have gone down this path. And when you're in the thick of it, when you're in this big, magical, mysterious woods of following your creative path, like it can feel scary. And like you were talking about feeling a little like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? I find myself in that space. I like to think of my life as a trampoline and like energetically, like if I'm feeling low, I know that a high is on the way, but like it can feel scary. And like for me, I'm part-time and my part-time is becoming less and less at my day job, my once was day job. And I'm leaning into my creative path even more. And I'm finding the anxiety coming up like, oh my God, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Oh my God, the money's not coming in. Oh my God, am I on the right path? Right? How do you navigate that experience? Because it's a lot of it's fighting the shoulds. It's still in the same, like, we're not going to should ourselves, but it's like, when we're in it and we're like, okay, great, I followed my path, I'm here. How do you stay present for that and not like scare yourself out of doing the work?
Yeah, listen, the entrepreneurial path is not for the weak, straight up. It is not for the weak. Everything about it causes us to be opposite of pretty much 90% of our peers, if not more. So, everything about like our scheduling, our timing, our output, the conversations we want to have. Like straight up, if you're following me on Instagram and you get tired of my posts about my business, understand these are my children. It's like these are where maybe for you, you're like, my dog, my cat, my kid. These are my children. I think about my businesses 24/7, how to do it, how to serve better, what to do. And it's that like heart and joy and everything. But for some people, they're like, here it goes again, right? Or the timing when it's like, no, you know what? I can't go out. I can't like hang with you because I literally am at home working on like my systems or producing or doing something else, right? And that's odd. And then the money. Can we talk about the money?
Let's talk about the money. Let's talk
about the effing money.
Yes.
There is so much stuff that we do as entrepreneurs we are not getting paid to do.
No.
Point blank. We're just not getting paid to do it. And we're carving a way to balance all the things in a system that is quite frankly not set up for us. I'll give you an example. So as a small business owner, okay, I simply cannot promise certain price points that a large corporation can promise you. I can't do it. It's not because I don't want to and I'm not cool. It's because the literal finances of that do not, like, I wouldn't be able to survive, right?
Sure.
Just because like a corporation, let's say you're making products, a corporation can bring out a product for pennies because they are able to manufacture thousands of them
Yeah.
and have them sit in warehouses. A small business owner doesn't have that manufacturing and distribution. So the money becomes a thing. And how do I ask, and how much do I ask for? And what is an opportunity, and what is someone trying to take advantage of my goods and services? We navigate so much stuff. And
Oh my
so
goodness.
so much. And so a couple of things, they've been hard lessons for me, and have literally, girl, I have cried, I have prayed, I have second guessed, I've been ready to quit. I have fantasized about going to work at Walmart. I fantasize about that because I've been like, you know what? I could do it so well. I would be a shopper.
So much. Yeah. Yeah. That
I
part.
will go. I'll be the best freaking one.
I'll just make a check. Yeah.
I'll get my check and
Yeah.
I'll just go. And then when I'm off, like, I'll actually be off. What would I do with actual off time where I'm not constantly thinking and producing and creating?
Probably doing that. You would probably be like, I need to think and do and create something because I've been around these
right?
Sims all day. You know what I mean?
Know? And also too, I think as entrepreneurs, we are natural problem solvers.
Yeah.
And we're natural servers in the sense that even when we fantasize about diving into something that would seem like all of those things would be gone, inadvertently, we would without a doubt still, I would probably go perform those functions and then be like, I noticed that people aren't happy there. Maybe I could help them be happier.
Next thing you know, you're the general manager. Like, how did I get here? Like, I don't even, I've actually done that like a couple of times where I'm like, oops, this was supposed to be a quick check. Why am I managing? Why am I leading now? Because this is like the space that I find myself in where I'm like, I want to come in, I want to fix things, I want to make them better. I've learned all these things in my life, but you brought up such a good point of like if you had free time, you would be doing what you're doing anyway. And I have literally the other day I was fantasizing about just like moving to the Philippines and just letting it. I was like, I'll just be barefoot for the rest of my life. Like I'll never go on social media again. I'll never. And I was like thinking about it and I'm like, knowing me, I probably would like start making something out of coconuts or something. Like I'd probably do something like a little fashion show with banana leaves. I don't know. Like, and I go into these fantasy worlds about what could be if I didn't go down this path. And I always, like you said, I just end up right back at that same point where I'm like, oh,
yeah. And that's exactly. And that's because we are who we are and we can't shake it off. And that's what got us to be this in the first place. So some of the hard lessons have been, number one, the loneliness. You know, there have been times where I've been deeply lonely. I mean, my husband, of course, he takes care of that for me. But I mean, in the circle of what is normal by society standards, right?
Yeah.
The large circle of friends, the time off doing nothing, those things we're talking about. And so then it dawned on me, you know, it's in the title. It's in the title. You're extraordinary. You're extraordinary. You're pioneering this for a reason. Pioneers, that's the whole point. They out in front.
Yep.
They're not with the crowd. So you have to just, once you own that more and kind of look at it, for me, it was a looking at it because I didn't see it that way. There are times when I've been in the wrong room so long that I do feel that I'm just abnormal, that I'm just weird, or I just, oh, these are great freaking things people have put on me. I just have so many ideas. I'm just extra. I'm just too much. I'm just, oh, and then there's the wonderful things once I start to get assertives, I'm a, all those things that people will say, right? And so then you start to say, well, gosh, this is really lonely because all these things are normal to me.
Right.
But they're abnormal in regular life. So once I started to really kind of look at things from a different perspective and say, well, yeah, and also pay attention to others, even if they're not in your circle. So like, if you look at champions, if you look at people really doing extraordinary things, then you'll see yourself in them. And you'll see that they too have lonely days and nights. They too work beyond what is normal. They too get their heart broken and pick themselves back up again. They too also pursue things that everyone around them is like, that is wild. And then you'll find that you do have a tribe, and you'll start to pursue really getting there and feeling that in person. But that was a big one. And then we talked a little bit about the money, and I don't want to leave anyone hanging. I'm going to be straight up with you 100. For me, it's been about also finding other ways to make money. If I had to, because that's also been a struggle, if I had to just count on, 100% my businesses to see me through day in and day out, then yeah, there are those moments where it's like, it's hard to serve if you really are like, yo, I gotta eat.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to then not get into an energy where now it's like you need to hit a sale. And I'm all about helping people to feel well and whole and complete. I can't get into that energy. So as soon as I saw that that was going to be an issue, I started to do other things practically in my life that would help me sustain. Some of those things are living below my means. So I always just naturally have some extra on top. Nice. Another thing is finding ways where my money can make money for me.
All right.
Okay. And we could have a whole financial episode, girl.
Yeah.
And then, these types of practical things, right? Takes a minute, but it helps. And I really want to share that because people don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Mofos be out here, girl, talking about quit your job, live on your dreams. And I'm like, girl.
Like, but how? Okay, so exactly. I want to ask this question because this is where I feel that Labrie and I are at in our lives. We are very blessed to be dual income, no kids. We've saved our money. We paid off our debt. We bought a house. Like, we are in a very blessed situation, and I can totally understand that. And we found a space where we, in our finances, were ready for me to like cut my income in half with the intent that I would also double it at some point so that I could get rid of this. And then the creative work, entrepreneurial work could take the full load of my income. And it's not looking like that yet. I will say to y'all, like, if you are making a series of jumps, the way that I did it, I would highly recommend like go part-time at your job, keep some of that income. I was able to negotiate a new position that is very, very valuable to the company that I work at. And it's commission-based. So as a salesperson, for me, it's great because I can just do that in my sleep, right? I could sell bamboo in my sleep. I don't even got to think about it. They understand that. They saw the value of that. And they were like, cool, can you just keep doing that for us? We'd love that. So I have this income that comes in. I'm still working on my emotional attachment to being their employee because I'm not anymore. I'm a contractor consultant for them. But what I have found is, one, the money comes. The money comes. If you've been putting yourself out there as an entrepreneur, the money comes.
Absolutely.
But money, to me, what I'm trying to figure out is like what money is green and what money is really for me, right? Like, I'm getting people coming to me for things that I don't feel like doing. I don't want to do. They assume that they're things that I do. So I'm trying to figure that out. But while we're doing all of this, I'm like stabilizing over here. I'm stabilizing these little streams of income. I'm thinking like, I need a financial advisor. I don't know how to make my money work for me. I know how to work for my money. I know how to work my ass off for my money, and I will do that. Sure. But I'm just kind of curious, like, how did you learn about financial literacy? Because I just know, pay the credit card off, get the money, pay it off, spend it, get the money, pay it off.
Yeah. So for me, it started, I would say roughly about, it's 2025. I would say it started about 12 to 14 years ago. So what was happening for me at the time is my childhood dream was to be in the entertainment industry. That was my childhood dream. Glory to the Lord, girl, won't he do it? I actually did achieve that experience, right? along the way, in order to be, what I started to notice was, because that career path is you're auditioning and you're putting yourself out there for various projects, which is actually you being a working actor. But the pay only comes when you book, right? Right. So then you have these periods of very highs and very lows. So what I was finding is I needed to balance the time and money issue, because either I had a lot of time and no money, or I had money and no time. And so that became something I really needed to focus on. I also knew, look, I don't come from any money at all. I don't have backing. I mean, my husband and I were a unit, but what I mean is, like, in my childhood, I actually come from a lack mentality. I come from parents that are immigrants. I'm a first generation American. And so my parents, we didn't have a wealth conversation, honey. We didn't talk like that at all. No, it was survive, and it was we work hard, and there's a sense of pride, which is beautiful and important. But it's also not the type of mentality that leads to financial freedom. So when I discovered this void and an inherent fear of things always running out that I would carry, I was like, I have to solve this. So I began to look to wealthy people in every way, shape, and form I can. And I also sought out actual financial education, because what we need to understand as well is there are different financial educators. And so you want to learn from people that truly are going where you want to go. So for me, I wanted time and money. So having a traditional financial advisor, or having where they're just selling products to me, then I'm like, no, that's not necessarily it. Just like having a CPA is only going to help you save on taxes. Well, that's not it. I want people who how do they do that? So I started to go to classes, I was reading books, and then I started to implement what I was learning. And I can tell you this, it works. We can all do this. We just need to know how, and we need to follow the script, but it is available to us. So for example, right now in 2025, you can put your money to work for you, but there are real things happening politically and economically that would make you want to second guess. And then there's different vehicles that you would want to either invest in or not, depending on your goals. And we're talking about real estate, stocks, banking, all the things. So to answer your question, everything that I am and have and share today comes from my own personal need. And once I started to figure these things out, I became so passionate, because I'm like, there are good people out there. There are good people out there that are fucking working their asses off, and they just don't have the information to make a change. So if they get the information, then their lives can be improved, and so many years that they'll never get back can be returned. I get so emotional about this. I'm sorry.
Don't even apologize.
But that's where it comes from, because I'm like, are you kidding me? When we look at these families that are rich, hand over fist, and it just gets getting passed down, I'll tell you some strategies they use. Number one, they find legal ways to not pay full tax rates. Number two, they store their assets in a way where when it transfers from one hand to another, they don't have to pay for the transfer. Number three, they take existing money and they put it in ways where the money can make money without them having to work for it. Number four, then they have the time and the freedom with which to continue to make these decisions, because they are not hurting for food. They're not worried about their medical bills. So, and then there's the 5 and 6. Wealthy people, as we're seeing right now, they stick together and they help each other out. Those of us that don't come from that, we think we have to fight for our own, and we're looking out for ourselves. But if we would band together, which is what you teach as the fairy godmother, we rise together as a collective people, then we all come up. So these are some things that I've learned, and I did it, and now I'd like to share it, because for me, it took years trial and
Yeah.
error, and literally putting it to work. But now
Mm.
that's why I share it, because I'm like, if I can tell you if I can save you, how many days reading book and jargon and trying to, and just tell you plainly,
Yeah.
let's go. So
Ah,
yeah. Yeah.
I am so grateful that you shared all of that because I feel like, we're all breaking generational curses and I feel where you're coming from. I'm on my mom's side of the family, I'm first generation. On my dad, I'm like third or fourth, right?
Mhm.
Their mentality around money is so like extreme. It's like spend it all, spend nothing. We have to work hard for this money. So my mom views her success in her Louis Vuitton bags, right? Like she brought herself from negative as a survivor of human trafficking, right? So she brought her family from negative poverty in the Philippines to middle class America. She's got her McMansion, she's got her Louis Vuitton, that is her way of being like, I am successful. And then on the flip side of it, she sends all of her excess checks back to the Philippines because she's the rich auntie, right?
Right.
So she's struggling to keep her lifestyle afloat. And then they come knocking, right? They come, and I don't know if this is common in all cultures, but like from my personal family experience, is like everybody back home looks at people in America and they're like,
They're
just give
rich.
it, give it. It's ours too, right? And that is the precedent that my grandparents set for her. Like my Lolo was doing that. Like he was working as a dishwasher and he would work till 2 a.m. and he would just like send his checks, all of his checks through Western Union and buy his call card and say, this is how much money's coming to you. And they would just spend it, right? So like that's one side. And then the other side is my mom would say, Kariput. My dad is like cheap, doesn't want to spend anything. But I'm like, okay, she's spending everything, he's spending nothing. They both have a lack mentality. And so I'm turning this around and I'm like, okay, like I need to not live like this because I see how stressful it is. I
Yeah.
also want to learn and then teach, right? So I told my siblings, I was like, yo, I paid all of my student loan debt off. You can do it.
Yes.
And because like they were all of the mind of like, and now everybody I meet that has student loan debt, I'm like, dude, you can pay it off. And also like the act of paying it off feels freeing because like the shackles are gone, and who knows if there's gonna be a government in charge that's actually gonna wipe that away, right? So I know I'm debt free. And then I, use that, redirected that money, but like I gamified saving and all of that. But I'm at this point in my life where I'm like, I don't know how to make my money. I don't know how to do that, but I'm seeing people do it. And I feel like we need to just keep talking about it because every chance I get to say, like, pay off your debt, I'll say, pay your debt off. My dad told
Yes.
me one thing once. He said, paying off your debt is saving.
Mm-hmm.
Paying off your debt is saving because debt gets interest. You dig your hole deeper and deeper. So for me, that's like what I learned. But I know
Yes.
I'm just like at the very like basics, ABCs, one, two, threes. Like I don't know anything else. So I appreciate you for being open about money and talking about it because it's spiritual, it's
Yes.
energetic, it's energy work, like it is. And then if you're going into entrepreneurship, that relationship with money is going to just translate into your services.
Yes, absolutely. It will. Congratulations on being debt free. That's huge. That is huge. And
Yeah.
that is a massive step, because you're absolutely right.
Mhm.
And you are also right. Well, as entrepreneurs, basically, it's wherever we go, here we are.
Yeah.
So, you could be, all your energy, how you tackle everything is how you're going to be handling your business until you get better ways to do it, and until you literally cleanse off things we all have. So we all
Mhm.
have something,
Yeah.
and as we cleanse, work through, integrate, then we're able to show up in a different way. But yeah, and it's so funny because in my household, it's the same, Amanda. So
Yeah.
in my household, mom's the one who will blow things up, girl. She will spend and blow it up. And then dad's like, not even like, he's super like the other way.
Yeah.
And both were this, exactly everything you
Mhm.
iterated. It was that sensation of like, both of these are not healthy. This is not
Mm-mm.
what I'm talking about. It's not wealth minded. And then
Yep.
also just I would have feelings. I don't know if you did too, but I would have feelings around money. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to work through this because this isn't
Yeah.
right either. But time and money freedom is what we all want. And there are ways to get it. It's just education and practice. We can all do
Mhm.
it. Mhm.
I'm really so ready to give up the mindset that I have to work hard for my money
Yes,
because I've
girl.
been working really, really hard. And I'm like, and I've seen success, like paying off the debt. We bought our cars in cash. Like we did those things. But I'm like, I have to work really hard for that. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to like create and come from a space of abundance. And so you mentioned earlier that you have a coach. I also have coaches. I'd be collecting coaches. I'm like, any way that I can get help. But one of the things that I haven't collected in my like personal Rolodex of coaches is a financial coach, a financial advisor. And I feel like that's a huge piece that's missing for me. Financial, and I would also say like health and wellness is a huge,
Yeah.
like those are two big pieces of my like personal coach team that I'm
Yeah.
building that I need and I don't have.
Well, girl, we could talk about it. I mean, definitely, it is very important. And you hit it on the head. Like, that's championship mentality.
Mhm.
So, I know it's tough because I do provide coaching. So then if you're on the outside looking in, like, especially on a social media platform,
Mhm.
there may be this thought, depending on where a person is at, of like, oh, well, she's just wanting to sell her services. It's
Mhm.
because there's a bias there, right?
Sure.
But here's the thing, I mean, straight up, I've lived this work and I continue to live this work to this day. And I
Mhm.
see the difference of it, and I also see, again, looking upward, right? Looking upward. Hey, I'm not a Detroit native, but yo, the Lions, okay? So
Yes.
what? We're all hype about the Lions, let's say, right? You think the Lions aren't getting coached?
Right.
They're getting their asses coached off, like in every form, physically, mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally, of like, hey, these games are big, the world is watching, push, right?
Yep.
And ways to do that, ways to not get hurt. When they get hurt, what happens? A team descends to get them
Mhm.
better again. So we need this ourselves. And
Yeah.
part of the walk of being able to do extraordinary things is being able to say, hey, I need a team. I need a toolbox that will help me because I'm going places I've never been and I'm going to be encountering things that I don't know and that I need to be fortified for. So
Mhm.
you're spot on with thinking, and that's another thing, right? We do need teams. And you're spot on with that because you could have all the money in the world, but if your health is not right, girl, oh no, right?
Mm-mm.
And as
Mm-mm.
we discussed before, yeah, okay, maybe I'm free and I'm my own boss, but yo, I don't have money. Oh no. Or
Right.
okay, I have a great idea, but I don't know how to put it forth. So we need this stuff, and it really does make a huge difference, especially coming from watching people that I love that just went forward with brute force,
Yeah.
and they did amazing things, but it was also at a cost that they didn't have to pay if they just would have had the technology mentally, emotionally to make it streamlined,
Mm.
easier. So this is good stuff, and I get hype on this because I'm just
Yeah.
like, uh, I've seen the effects and I feel the effects when I both with my clients and in my own life. So it just makes me super happy. And I'm glad that you're thinking of things in that way because that's how we should think about it.
And I
Yeah.
mean, like if you and I've seen the other side of it. Like I've talked about on the show before. I have gout flares, serious gout flares, and they started when like the revamp started to like take take up more space, right? But I was just working harder, right? I'm just
Mm-hmm.
working harder. I'm working longer hours. I'm sacrificing myself, my body, my physical, my mental, my spiritual. And my husband said something to me the other day, and I've been part-time since July, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been working more. I've been working more, but I've been working more at my own pace, at my leisure. I've been working in my spiritual practice again, some
Yeah.
physical practice again, right? And he was like, I see Amanda in there. Like, I haven't seen you in a little while, right? And he's just like, you look different. And I'm working with another coach, and she was like, you're here today. And I was like, I am here today. She's like, no, but you're like here. And I'm like, Yeah. But it's like you can get in this like busy state if you're like working nonstop. But
Yeah.
part of the work to be able to work well is to offline do the spiritual work, do the physical work, do the family work, do the spirit. Like I say spirit again, but I'm like, it all starts here. And I've
Yeah.
noticed that the more I go inward, the better I can go outward. Like I'm coming up with better solutions for my family dynamics. Like I'm finding myself in a space where people are in my family are coming to me and I'm like, what's happening? My husband's like, we're just at that age. We're at that age and stage in our life. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I redirect this energy so that it's constructive, positive, fills me up, fills them up, feeling lonely? What do I need to do? How can I fill that cup? So now that I have more mental space, I can build in the mental technology that you're talking about. I've never thought about it like that. Like the technology to catalyst for better ideas, better relationships, better physical relationships. Like you're so right. But I needed the space to do that because I didn't have it
Absolutely.
before.
Absolutely. And space is a big issue.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right. It's funny because it's this total cycle, right? So if we're stressed about time, money, our basics, we are already in a hamster wheel that doesn't allow us to really do much else.
Mm.
It's not our fault, right? I understand that intimately, actually.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things in my life, I became a mom at 16 years old.
Mm.
So, and I was coming off of being a mom before I was officially a mom.
Mm.
Because when my parents divorced, I was basically the woman of the house in every sense of the word, meaning
Yeah.
I would walk myself home from like elementary, clean the house, do my homework, watch my brothers, like do all the things that was for an adult to do, right?
Yeah.
But that's just the role that I took. Now, that was all a setup. That was all a setup. That was all a forging of various gifts and solving problems, right? But why do I say that? Because here I am at a young age, then 16, then now I'm a mom. Now I'm a
Mm.
mom and I have to put food on the table. I'm
Yeah.
working multiple jobs. I don't have the
Mm.
resources to really break out very easily. Every penny, everything. I'm shopping in the grocery store, calculating in my mind, like, okay, dude, this is this much, this is because I have this much to spend.
Mm.
Like real talk. There are people that are out there that are living this life today. And
Mm.
so what happens, I knew from a very young age, I remember when I called my grandma and I told her that I was pregnant and she immediately
Mm.
just cried. And I was like, oh my gosh, but that's because, can I just tell you, like, I would sit in the car as a little kid and I'd be like, I'm never having kids. I was like, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to blah, blah,
Ah,
blah, 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 right? Because I was
yeah.
seeing my family dynamic that was tumultuous. And I was
Mhm.
like, ooh, that looks rough.
Yeah.
I have big dreams. So I had always had big dreams. So now here I'm in a situation where it's a it's reality, yo.
Yeah.
It's reality. It's we got to work, we got to feed people, we got to get out of this. And so
Mhm.
what are we going to do?
Mm.
Knowing I needed a better life, I started to pursue all the ways that I can have a better life.
Mm.
And through years of really like plumbing the depths of my soul, the way that I think, habits needed to change, what I can do, some of the practical things we talked about. That's why what you mentioned is very real. It's like, what happens when we don't have the time and we don't have the energy? And so part of that problem solving became, oh my gosh, things are changing in my life. Now I'm helping friends and family. Well, how do I make this easier? How do I make this faster?
Mm.
Because straight up, people want better things in their lives,
Yeah.
right? And not because we're all broken and not just because we want and we deserve.
Yeah.
We want and we deserve. There's always a new mountain to climb, right? But what happens is some of us are just so beat down by every day and we don't have the time or the bandwidth. So that's where I started to develop what became the transformation.
Oh no. I was so into what she was saying and she got kicked off. We'll give her a second, but that's so real. Teemaree is like literally spilling the tea because It's generational, baby. We got to keep growing through it. We got to go through whatever your trial and tribulation is. Just remember that there's a result on the end of it. And if you're focused on the trials, then you're never going to see the lessons learned. And I've been there. I've literally been there. I've rolled through all kinds of dirt. I put myself in the dirt and working my way out. But coaches are, I feel for me personally, coaches saved my life. I went the coach route. I went the learn route. I didn't go the therapy route. I went the spiritual route. And working with coaches, I was able to forge a future and a path for myself while also processing the past. I can't recommend what's better, therapist, coach, mentor. I think you need a collection of things. But like working with coaches was what I did first. I actually went on to Calm, the app. And on the Calm app, I started listening to a podcast. Oh, Teemaree is back. Amazing. We lost you, but we kept the train going. So I'm just going to finish the story and we're going to come right back to it. So my first coach ever, I went on the Calm app because I was feeling anxiety. And this is like right after I learned about the law of attraction. And I was clawing my way out of this dark, dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And I messaged the guy that was making the podcast. And I was like, I really like your work. Da, 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 da. He's like, I would love to give you a free coaching session. And he ended up coaching me as a life coach for the next like 6 months. And I feel like our work together was amazing. And I was like, oh, I could just have this. I could just have a coach. I could just have people like examine the things that I'm doing, hear me word vomit my problems and my successes out, and then give me advice. Oh my God, I didn't know it was so simple. Like, and I was like, it's great, but it's not that simple because you have to turn around and go do the work. But still, you know, and I knew I graduated from him. I appreciate him so much. But I knew I graduated from him when we had a moment and I was finally in this place where I'm like, I can see the big vision again because I was coming from abuse and I had also dreamed about being in the entertainment industry. And I think that's like why we're here together because I feel like we just vibe on that level. But I was like, I had this like realization. I was like, oh, I want to be more impactful than Oprah. And he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, also, I just want to save the world. And he was like, you cannot save the world. And I was like, you can't tell me that. Like, you know, and I'm like, you can't tell me that. And I love you and I appreciate you and I appreciate the work that we've done, but I feel like our time is now done. And after that, I thought about that. I chewed on that. Like, what does it mean to be more impactful than Oprah?
Yeah.
And then I added a bunch of things to that. I was like, I want to be more impactful than Oprah, more magical than Walt Disney, more influential than Prince. And I was like, what? But I had to like, recently I've been examining those things because I was saying that a lot. I was like, wow, I'm basing all of my life things on other people's life experience. And I need to come back to home and see what it is that actually I want. And what do I admire and what do I not admire in these people? And what can I take and what can I leave? But my goal, my mission in life has to be for me. And it can't be based on anybody else. But in that moment for me, many, many years ago, saying that to him was like such a big deal. And then being like, you know what? I think I'm done was also a big deal. Cause I was like, what? Who am I? Who am I? But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I've had coaches ever since then, ever since.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Can I just say, like, I was listening the whole time. We just had a little technical error on my side. For some reason, my stuff like kicked off, but I was listening. And you and I have so many of those things in common in the sense that I too, Oprah is a big one. She's like number one. And I've always felt like, yeah, I would like to have an impact or greater than Oprah. And then Walt Disney is another one, just for how his vision and his creativity and his vision towards something that we all feel is frivolous, but it's around happiness and magic and memories and joy. And I was like, oh my gosh, so that's very funny that we both have that. And doesn't it feel great when, number one, we start to say, because I felt the same way too. I felt the same way when I first kind of started to, I'll say, like, let myself get the help was a big deal. It felt like who am I? Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what? Like I'm letting myself get help. So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was also too, when I'm like, you know, this has run its course. It felt powerful and confident. And it felt like, gosh, I'm starting to gain dominion over what I see for me. Again, that balance, right? Of like, yes, I'm open and I want to learn, but also I do have a vision that's uniquely my own. And doesn't that feel so great? It's
Oh
just
my
like,
goodness. But I can only imagine because his response was like very exactly what you think from like a spiritual life coach. He was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I love this for you. This is amazing. It's been great to work with you. It's been wonderful. I'm excited to see how you evolve. And he'll comment on my stuff every once in a while. And he's like, you're really doing the thing. And I was like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. So I think it's like those are great points. It's like having the vision, you can
Mhm.
look up to people because the more I dug into these people, the more I'm like, okay, well, I don't really resonate with that. Okay, I don't really resonate with that. But like I can still admire the work ethic that it took to get there and the impact that they made in their time. And when I went to the Prince Museum, I lost my mind. Like it's Paisley Park
Uh-huh.
in Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
The clothing in general, like obviously Prince's body of work is phenomenal, but like
Sure.
seeing it from an intimate space where you're like, oh, he made all of his outfits. Oh, he wrote all of his songs. Oh, he produced everything. Oh, he was recording music every single day without breaks. Like he was working his butt off, but his like vision for like community creativity, you could see it because it was his home. So you could see it in the home. I'm like, oh, there's a restaurant over there. There's a sewing room over there. There's the basketball court over there. There's the bar over there. There's the recording studio, and I'm like, this is the kind of thing I want to do. And then I went into like his room of shoes and I started crying. And I'm not a crier, not a big crier, but especially not in a museum. I'm like, oh my God. Like, the Capricorn comes out. I'm like, I could do that. Right. So we're walking around. I walk into the shoe room and it's floor to ceiling shoes everywhere. Shoes everywhere. Same shoe,
Uh-huh.
different like color, like pattern, but the same shoe over and over and over again. And I like felt this like emotional thing because I have like 5 pairs of those Converse, right? And they're starting to get holes and and I have my like shoe collection that I'm known for, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, like not only was it just like 5, but it was like 500. And they're all worn in. The heels are broken. And I'm like, this is the shoe that he stomped around in the world in. But also the fact that there's so many shoes and they're all worn out. He walked the walk. He showed up
Yes.
for his shit every single day. And I'm like, and you can see it. You can
Yeah.
see it. And so like I don't know why that got, and maybe it's shoes. I don't know. But like for me, it was just like, whoa, like this is a product of his work. If his body of music wasn't enough, if his influence wasn't enough, if his like impact in his music videos and all of that, I'm like, if you just boil it down to like the human wearing the shoes and all of these freaking shoes, I'm sure these are the ones that made it. I'm sure made it. Some of them made it in the trash. Like some of them didn't even make it here. So I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what it takes to be that. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that room always gets me so emotional, but like it's cool.
I
It's cool to see
yeah.
that other people have done it and it's possible. Yeah.
I think what I sense anyway is that the emotion is coming from that ownership, that pure ownership and your awareness of that. And it's just that sensation of like, wow, I love viewing that pure ownership. And I am aiming to do that myself. And because I see how many obstacles and temptations there are to take me off the path,
Mm.
I not only respect that, but I'm motivated and inspired by that because I see what it takes. That's how that's what I feel as you
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
And especially as you are touched by the shoes, because you're right, the shoes literally mean like we are going places, we're owning this, we are walking in the shoes and we're doing
Mm.
that. That's how I feel. We just watched this documentary on Walt Disney. And I was just so moved by his utter dedication to his vision and to excellence and to beauty and magic and continued growth. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just love that so much.
Yeah.
And I there are points where I get emotional. It's funny. I never used to be a crier, but now I cry, girl. I cry.
I used to joke that I only cry once a quarter, but like now it's like, once a month, and I can accept that as like a growth in me. But like, yeah, and thinking about, I'm working with MFA. I don't know if you know MFA,
Mhm.
but if you don't know her, you should meet her. But she keeps saying like, what is it going to cost you? And what is it costing you? And what is it giving you?
Mhm.
And I've been applying that thought to things that are no longer serving me, but now I feel like I need to apply it to things that are serving me. Because when I want to give up on the revamp, for example, when I want to like just flush it, I'm like, what is it costing? What would it cost me to flush it? And what would it cost me to take it all the way there? Because that's what I
Mhm.
want to do. I want to take it all the way there. But then there's another part of me that's like, it's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the life's work. It's the life's work.
It
You just gotta go
is.
through it.
Yeah, it is because those questions they come up all the time. I used to be under this fantasy that, you would kind of answer the questions and then you'd be there. But that's
Yep.
actually not reality. It really isn't. So
Mm.
like with each step of the game, like, we talked about finances, for example. So what happens is we are at a level and we gain some information, we put it to work. Now we're at a new level. Hooray.
Mhm.
But then there's another level and another
Right.
level. And
Yeah.
it's not from a sense of lack, because if we're doing the same work around our emotions and around our stories and around our subconscious and that whole thing, then it isn't about lack. It just gets to a point where we realize that we're creators and that we're here to continually unfold. And so then it's like, yeah, it's just the new pinnacle in the mountain range in which I get to call my life. So
Mhm.
it's like, oh yeah, like, all right, cool. Like there is no, and depending where your perspective at, that may feel a little daunting, but trust me, it can be fun and awesome too. It's not this like, oh, I'm sludging through these
Right.
things. It's like, oh, it gets to a point where, like with the physical work or like with eating well, you first start it, it's foreign, feels kind of strange. Next
Mhm.
thing you know, you've built up some stamina. You're
Mhm.
seeing some results. Your palate is changing. Now you're like, hey, that treat I used to love so much, ooh, now that's starting to taste like a little too much because now my palate is leaning towards things that bring me energy and joy. And like,
Mhm.
I'm not full or sedated after I eat. And so that's what it starts to feel like with all this work, where it's like at first it's kind of weird and you start to walk it out. And then you see some benefits. And then you start to look towards like, gosh, I like those benefits. I like feeling good about myself. I like
Mhm.
increasing my confidence and so on. And so it gets fun.
It's all and I think that's something that we forget in the work is that we should be playing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like I went to Sedona with my husband for our anniversary, and we like did a hike in a mountain, and it was like, ooh, what's over there? Ooh, what's over there? What's over there? What's over there? And then we turn around and we're like at the top of the mountain, and we just ooh, what's over there all the way up, like and it was like, oh, this is and I think when I'm thinking about my work or your creative work or anything, it's kind of like, what's over here? Let's explore this. I feel this thing. It's pulling me this way. Let's explore this. If it's under this same umbrella of like expression and play, at first I used to try to make it like, how can I like make this fit into my niche? If we're going all the way back to the front, I need to find my thing, right? What is
Yeah.
my thing? I think my thing is playing and finding the magic in life. Like that
Yeah.
is the thing, right? So it could be anything under that beautiful umbrella as long as I'm playing and being curious and trying things out, it'll all connect and make sense because we are people. We're not meant to just be like, okay, you're a data analyst for the rest of your life. Boom, that's it. Nothing else. You can't do anything else. You can't be anything else. You just numbers all the time. It's not like that. And it's not like, and it's sometimes there'll be moments where we're like clawing ourselves up, but it might just be like, ooh, what's over there? And take a step up. Ooh, what's over there? And take a step. And then you
Yeah.
look back and the body of work that you have is like way bigger than you thought. So I love
Yes.
that thought of like it's fun. Like exploration should be fun.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we've been talking for an hour. I have 2 final questions.
Okay.
1, tell us a little bit about the work, how we can work with you, where we can find you.
Oh my gosh. Well, we can work in a number of ways. I set it up so that depending on your time commitment and or your financial commitment, there's always a way that we can work together. If you're just coming in and you just want to kind of get something quick that you can access at any time, I have Teemaree Media where you can read, watch, listen, and receive uplifting feel-good media that's going to help you to be inspired, motivated, and also to learn some things, okay? And if you're a small business that wants to have your business seen, you can apply for sponsorship and get your business seen while we both win together, so that's available to you. Maybe you want the next level, right? You're like, hey, I want to get down with you. I want to like have some classes. I want to like dive in, maybe get some services from you. Allswell Lifestyle is my virtual church, retreat center, and shop. Here's what that is. You have 24/7 access to audios and videos in our retreat center library that you can access from anywhere in the world by design, and you can feel empowered. You can feel soothed. You can get what you need even in the middle of the night. We talked about multiple jobs. You don't have the resources. That's your spot. You also get member discounts for classes and things that are for your mind, body, and spirit. And access to the virtual retreat center is free. So that's at allswelllifestyle.com. You want to work with me? We have coaching sessions. You can book that online. It's not a consultation to get something confusing and try to think you're going to be in a sales call. It's all straight up. The price, the time, the way to book, and it's by phone. You don't have to worry about logging in and doing anything, signing up for extra stuff. So that's available, coaching sessions. I also have courses for you, and it's all at teemaree.com. So like, these are the ways people can work with me. And basically what I do, it's for your life, your health, and your spirit. So no matter what we do, all those things, you will be holistically assisted in every way that I can. And I mix practical and non-practical practices.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? So yeah, there'll be things that we can do for the logical minded, and then there's things that we dive in and we feel and we change. We change inside.
Oh my gosh, so good. And you have a couple books.
Yeah.
And we can get those in the church library on Teemaree.
Teemaree.com, Teemaree.com is the place where you can find every way to access anything you would like with me. And that's from the free to the coaching session, and everything is right there for you to engage with. Books, media, courses, coaching, all the things. And including even bringing me on if you want me to speak to your organization or anything like that, it's all there.
And I feel like you show up just like this. Like, this is the energy. You just bring it. You're like, this is just who I am. Let's do it. Let's learn.
Yeah, I really like to I like to streamline the process for people. So my method is transformation through joy. And where it came from is really it's like micro learning, mind, body, spirit, and making it easy to implement. So I do just come and we'll get into it. You have questions, I answer. You want an experience, I can lead you through an experience that can take you there. And then we can also get into practical brass tacks. You want stuff to write down. You want a little sheet to take away. We can do that too.
Oh, I love it. Yay. Okay. My final question for you is one last piece of advice for our audience listening today. That one thing you want to share.
If you're listening to this, know that what you have in your heart, every gift you have, everything that you have gone through, it is for a very, very real, important, magnificent purpose. You are planned for this time. You are needed. You are important. You are wanted. And so if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling afraid, if you feel that you do not have the resources that you need, Trust me when I say that help is here, and that just one little yes can lead to a great opening. So take heart. I hope that you enjoyed the things that we discussed, and reach out if you would like some support. Just like both Amanda and I said, it feels awesome to finally say yes. And just know that it's here for you. At least that's because I needed someone to tell me that, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm telling you, you have support, you have help, and you can do what you dream. You honestly can do what you dream. Just like cookies, it's a recipe. It's a recipe to follow, and that's it. So be encouraged.
I love you so much. Thank you so much. I feel like that conversation was so, we touched so many things, and I think for a creative, it's so important to just like, let's just look at the whole picture. So thank you for painting a beautiful picture with us today, Teemaree. I appreciate you. I love the work that you're doing. I am so excited to stay in community with you. All of you listening, thank you for being here as always. And of course, we always got to plug the revamp. If you're interested, our brand ambassador program is open. So if you're trying to test out your creative skills, if you want to get in front of the camera, behind the camera, be in a like-minded community where people are creating content that is eventually going to get published, because we are launching a magazine next year. Let me know. The link will be down below. Also, all of Teemaree's links are also going to be down below. And I'll say this again. She's real. She's real, y'all. She lives in the Metro Detroit area. Like, hit her up. She will answer the DM. She will answer the emails. You can meet her in real life. So take it offline, bring it into the world, and let's make magic. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.